Mike Paralack here to entertain you with the help of Howard Jones. I need a friend and a lover divine, an everlasting precious love. Wait for it, give it some time. Is this love worth the waiting for? Bitterness will die for sure. Something special, something pure. Is this love worth waiting for? Anyways, that was actually amongst the first cassette singles I ever owned when I was a kid, 8, 9 years old. No, I wanted to get one out there. There's a fine line between, when it comes to having energy, there's a fine line between caffeine, vitamin B, and atmosphere. Because it all factors in. It's kind of a dreary day today, so, but I'm not dragging, so caffeine and vitamin B is at least making me alert anyways. By the way, I'm not a health expert. I'm just communicating what's worked for me through trial and error. The only real teacher I've ever known. Just like mommy nature and daddy time was the only mommy and daddy I've ever really known. Anyways, I wanted to share an anecdote about my father, because those are always entertaining. And talk about the time now I gotta be very careful about the lingo that I use, because I want to avoid demonetization. But I think if I word it right, I think the intelligent people out there will know what I'm talking about. But anyways, I want to talk about the time my father told me that he paid a blank worker. Whenever I use the word blank, that's a substitute for the 3-letter word that begins with S. But my father told me he paid a blank worker to service her Oreo. Oreo is another replacement word. To which this would have been the aftermath of the authorities taking us away from him, and like years later. But I remember asking him straight out, why would you pay somebody money, your hard-earned money, to do a physical act like that to them? Talking about Colonel Angus. You know Colonel Angus? See the SNL skits with Christopher Walken. Didn't know what I'm talking about. But why would you pay somebody money? Now, you could say that would make my father like the king of the betas, but then he can't hold down a job, so he can't be a beta provider. You can't accuse the boy of being a beta provider because he can't hold down a job. So I guess the only thing left is, simp, maybe. The world's full of those. But I'll stick with male feminist because we're on YouTube. So the other word would be beep old. Beep is a replacement for a 4-letter word that begins with C. But beep old. Anyways, yeah, this would have been like 5 years after when he told me this. This was like 5 years after we hadn't seen him for 5 years. After being taken away from him by the authorities. But he saw a white cat once with blue eyes, and it reminded him of a blank worker, of this blank worker, and he told me. An aunt of mine, if she's watching this, that 26-year-old my father was bragging about that day way back in 1991 or two, whatever it was, at McDonald's on one of our visitations, legal visitations. That 26-year-old that he was bragging that he had blanked, that he had blank with. Yeah, that was the 26-year-old he was bragging about. So if my aunt who's watching this, I remember she told me I wanted to kill him because I was going out. We were still growing up at the time, and I was telling him, I was all excited, telling him about those Back to the Future Harvey comics that were out at the time. I don't know how popular they were, but Back to the Future Harvey comics that were out at the time, and I was all excited telling him about this, and he's like, yeah, I knew about that. Guess what? I blanked a 26-year-old. Well, that was the 26-year-old, Auntie, if you're watching this. Oh, God. Yeah, to me, that's why I said that's, why would you pay a female money? Why would you pay money to engage in that physical act? It's just, I couldn't fathom it. Because to me, that's something that you reserve for, ideally, I guess, someone you feel some kind of love for. That's a loving act. They reserve, I think, primarily for the mother of your children. Contrary to popular belief, it's not supposed to smell like roses or taste like honey, but it is supposed to smell and taste like the healthy version of what it is. My only experience with that has been with loser, pervert, feminist smokers. That's why I promised God that no more. See, a real man, because a real man can depend more on nature than he can on anything man-made, including government. For me personally, a young, fertile, healthily, and respectfully obedient female would have to come into my life for me to see any point of sharing what I have with anyone. Otherwise, I'll just stick to my plan B. I'll have to invest in at least 3 of those toys, not the ones with the chip in the head. Because if I buy one of those things, or 2 or 3, I'm not buying one to talk to the damn thing. That's what a healthy relationship with the Almighty is for, and praying. I just, would need 3 to keep my God-given libido in check. Oh yeah. I would let's see, I need 1 to play with before bed, the second one to play with when I get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom and go back to sleep, and then a 3rd to play with first thing in the morning before I get up and start my day. So you see where I would need 3. They'd have to be durable. Oh yeah, they'd have to be durable. And I figure I'll get a brunette, an Asian, and maybe a redhead. After all, the real life ones of those are nuts anyways. Oh, this morning I was, while getting ready, I was watching Jimmy Fallon talking to Kate Hudson. And Kate Hudson was going on about what she called these man-made problems. Man-made problems. All these man-made problems. So I couldn't help myself. I commented down below. I says, as a man, I am offended, Ms. Hudson. I am offended. You should be saying human-made problems, not man-made problems. I'm offended, Miss Hudson. You'll be hearing from my lawyer. I'll sue! Yes. Some people say I'm insane. Well, I can't help it. Never in my life have I had a competitive nature until now. And I gotta be honest. I have such a competitive nature, the mere thought, I can't deal with the thought of anyone outsaining me. So I gotta be extremely insane. I guess I can tell you another father anecdote. I was listening to Cyndi Lauper the other day, and the song True Colors. And I was remembering there was a show, a sitcom, when I was a little kid. I don't remember very much about it other than the commercial for it, because they showed those things over and over again. But there was a show called True Colors. It was a short-lived sitcom. Obviously, it didn't go anywhere, but I remember my father. It was supposed to be like a family. It was supposed to be, I guess, a white woman and a black guy that had families from prior relationships, but decided to get together and have it, live together. It was called True Colors. I remember my dad. He was all like, "Why would they make a show like that? That's dumb. That they're blacks living with what?" Now, he used derogatory slang, but derogatory offensive language, but I'm trying to clean it up for the sake of this video. Why would they make a show about a black person and a white person living together like a married couple? But I remember the advertisement. I guess the pun of the joke is the white grandmother couldn't understand the black kid, and he's going on, "Yo, grandma, check this out. I met a man that was due for some cash. You understand?" All of it, but if you Google it. I'm sure it's out there somewhere in the world. But I thought about the guy. The guy walks off, and I walk off with his $5 bill or something like that. He goes, "Can you take that, Grandma?" And those white old ladies look at him and she goes, "Very nice." And then she turns to her white daughter. "Now, what the hell did he just say?" It was a show called True Colors. This would have been the 80s, which is probably why I never went anywhere. But if you Google it, I'm sure you can find it somewhere out there in the world. All right. I don't know. I'm out of things to say. I guess I'll sing. He wasn't looking for a pretty face. She wasn't searching for the latest style. He didn't want someone who walked straight off the TV. She needed someone with that interior smile. She wasn't looking for a cuddle in the back seat. He wasn't looking for a 5-minute thrill. She wasn't thinking of tomorrow or of next month. This vacancy he meant to permanently fill. I need an everlasting love. I need a friend and a lover divine. An everlasting, precious love. Wait for it, give it some time. By the way, I hadn't seen that commercial since I was a kid, probably 9, 10 years old. Yeah, it was the show was called True Colors. I'll probably Google it myself later today. Now that I've striked my own curiosity. Thank God I'm able to entertain myself because, frankly, human beings are boring to me. Human beings are boring. It's like, I don't know. It's like all they care about is their alcohol, their nicotine, and their Michoacan. It's like, sorry, I don't derive any pleasure from those things. Guess I'm the one who's crazy. I don't know. I used to derive pleasure from excessive eating, but I don't seem to be able to do that anymore. Well, I guess I'll wrap up here. Thanks for watching.